Ever come across the term $5 Indians? It's one of those quirky historical tidbits that almost sounds made up. Imagine this, late 19th century America, where for just $5, roughly $150 today, someone could reportedly get themselves listed as Native American. This isn't a feel-good story about cultural blending though. It's about greed, ambition, loopholes, and the tangled mess of identity and bureaucracy. These illegal land grabs have had an impact on people today, and the term $5 Indians has become a jab at people who are part of the Wannabe Tribe and the Pretendians. Today, we're digging into what $5 Indians means, how it got started, and why it still lingers in history. Let's travel back to the 1890s and explore this strange chapter. Hey everybody, this is Colonel Carson with Family Tree Nuts, and I'm a professional genealogist and a historian. In our videos entitled, No, You're Not Cherokee, and No, You're Still Not Cherokee, we have had thousands of people make comments about $5 Indians, but I discovered that most folks had never heard the term. That's when I knew that it was time to make this video. At Family Tree Nuts, we build family trees for clients that either don't know how, don't have the time, or don't want to pay those expensive membership fees. We'd love to honor your ancestors for you. We also make history videos all over the United States and a few countries. So if you like videos like these, be sure to subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Now back to the story. To get the full picture, we need some context. By the late 1800s, the U.S. government was focused on managing Native American lands and resources, often through policies like the Dawes Act of 1887. The plan was to divide the tribal lands into individual allotments for Native Americans, with any extra land made available for settlement. To decide who was qualified, they created the Dawes Rolls, official list of tribal members. It sounds organized, but things quickly got complicated. Those allotments weren't just patches of ground. They held value, timber, grazing fields, even oil in some regions. And where there's value, people always find ways to get in on it. The term $5 Indians comes from a scheme where some individuals, often settlers with no tribal ties, paid small bribes, typically around $5, to get on those rolls. Their goal? To claim land allotments. It was fraud, no doubt, and it happened more than you'd hope. You've got no tribal ancestry, but you got $5 and a friend who knows a shady enrollment official. You slip that cash under the table and maybe claim a distant native grandma that no one can verify, and bam, you're on the list. Suddenly, you're allotted 160 acres that should have gone to an actual tribal member. Some estimates say that a few hundred to around 1,000 people pulled this off, especially in the 5 civilized tribes: Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, and Seminole. The corruption wasn't subtle. Court records from the era show officials caught taking bribes, forged documents, and even fake testimonies. One guy, a lawyer and eventual U.S. Senator named Napoleon Bonaparte Moore, got busted for enrolling over 500 fake Indians, all for profit. The going rate? You guessed it, about $5 a head. It's almost comical until you realize the cost. Real Native families lost land, heritage, and wealth to these schemes. And here's the kicker. The Dawes Rolls weren't just about land. They became the official record of tribal identity. Even today, some tribes use them to determine membership. So those $5 Indians didn't just steal property, they muddled the waters of who's really part of a tribe. The ripple effects were huge. By the time the Dawes Rolls closed in 1907, over 2/3 of tribal land, about 90 million acres, had been transferred out of native hands. The $5 Indians were just one piece of the puzzle, but they highlight how greed and systematic flaws screwed over entire communities. Families whose ancestors survived forced relocation, like the Trail of Tears, now watch their land shrink again, this time to con artists with a few coins. It's not all ancient history either. The term $5 Indian still pops up today, sometimes as a jab at people claiming native ancestry without proof. You've probably seen it, the old, "Oh, my great-grandma was a full-blooded Cherokee princess" line, but they have no evidence. Most of those that say this have roots in Appalachia and are not connected to the $5 Indians. But for a tiny fraction of those making this claim, the story traces back to these frauds. The term $5 Indian is now used for anyone thinking that they're native, even if their family stories don't trace back to this illegal land grab. It's a catchphrase for all those that are part of the Wannabe Tribe and the Pretendians. And for the tribes, it's a sore spot. Enrollment is sacred. It's about culture and belonging, not just paperwork. When outsiders gamed the system, it didn't just take the land, it messed with identity. There's a flip side too. Some descendants of $5 Indians argue that they're legit. Maybe great-grandpa did have a tiny bit of native blood, but without solid records, it's a tough sell. And the tribes get to decide, not the government or some online DNA test. So what's the lesson here? The $5 Indian story is a unique glimpse into a larger tale, how America's land policies reshape lives and legacies in unexpected ways. It's a reminder that history can be messy, unfair, and downright bizarre. Next time you hear someone toss around that phrase $5 Indian, you'll know that it is more than a quirky saying. It's a symbol of a hustle that changed the map. So, now we know about the $5 Indians. What do you think? Have you heard this term before? What are your thoughts about the history of it all? Do you have any personal stories of the impact of the matter? We'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments below. Make sure that you subscribe, as we are proud to share this information with all of you. And remember, family tree nuts, let our nuts find the nuts in your family tree.